Hello everybody and welcome back to Music Ed Now. In today's video, we're going to have a look at a free video software called Davinci Resolve. This video will act as an introduction to Davinci Resolve and will get you started making videos in a really easy and accessible way, even if you have no prior experience using video editing software. The link to download the free version of Davinci Resolve is in the description box below. So once you have the software downloaded, let's hop in and start to learn Davinci Resolve.
So here we are inside Davinci Resolve, and the very first thing we need to do is go through the various pages that exist in the software. And from left to right, what we have are the media page. This is where we're going to import and organize our media. The cut page is second. This is where you can make simple edits and cut out larger chunks of silence, let's say from a video, if you have a lot of footage to go through. Then we have the edit page, which is where the bulk of your work is going to happen, especially if you're a beginner in Davinci Resolve. The Fusion page is quite a complex part of what Davinci Resolve can do, but in here you can do things like visual effects and 3D animation. But this is definitely an intermediate to advanced stage of your Davinci career, so we'll be avoiding this one today. Color page is next, and we'll do some very light work in the color page today. Fairlight page is where you can mix and master your audio. And then finally, we've got the deliver page, and this is where you're going to render and export your final video. So with that said, let's import some media. I have some media ready to go here. And the media I'm importing here is the intro to this video that you saw. So this is me live editing the intro that you've already seen. Because it's a very short intro, I don't really need to do much in the cut page. So I'm going to skip the cut page for today because there's not a lot of media here, or there's not a lot of video to get through. And I'm going to go straight into my edit view. So the first thing we need is our media. So if I come up to the left, you'll see this little icon is the media pool. And once I open that up, I can see what my videos are. This video 5570, I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to drag it down into my timeline, and you'll see straight away I've got that video. I've buffered through these videos, and I happen to know that 5572 is what's going to have to come next, and then 5571. Again, I'm just dragging and dropping in. And what I'm going to go through now is some of the most efficient shortcuts to use while you're editing and trimming out sections of your video footage. So if I come in here and let the first part play, I'm going to wait until I have a mistake to fix, which I'm sure there will be plenty. It often takes me multiple takes to even get through a short intro.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Music Ed Now. In today's video, we're going to have a look at a free video software called Davinci Resolve.
Okay, so then there's a little gap of silence here that I'm going to try to get rid of. So what I'm going to press now is Command and B. And Command and B is a shortcut for splitting. You'll see there's a little split now in the audio, and if I can take that part away, that's what that does. And then to get rid of the gap of silence, there's a couple of ways I can do it. I'll press Command and B again to make a split, and I'll just move this up here, and you can also make the waveform a little bit bigger so you can see what you're doing. So I know that there's silence here because the bigger waveform is when I'm speaking, and the smaller waveform is when there's just a gap in the speech. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one by clicking here, and if I press Shift and Backspace, that deletes the empty silence, but it also ripples the timeline. And rippling the timeline means that it takes the part that comes after the deleted part and puts it together. So now I have this.
Davinci Resolve. This video will act as a...
So again, it's just a straight cut into the next one. And I know I make a mistake here in the next sentence. So again, I'm going to just make a little split here, Command and B. And you'll see that the video clip is actually linked to the audio. So I just need to do it once. So that was Command and B again, or Control and B if you're on a Windows PC.
Even if you have no prior experience using video software.
So I mangled the words there. So what I'm going to do is, this time I know that I say the sentence right here.
Even if you have no prior experience using video editing software.
Another shortcut that I want you to be aware of, and this is going to make your life so much easier, is if I press Control Shift and then the left bracket, Control Shift left bracket, instead of doing the deleting this section here, a quick way is if I know that this audio here, this bit of audio here is the right one, and I know I want to remove this, wherever the playhead is, I can snap this whole section back to where the start of the clip is. So Command or Control, Command, Shift, and the left bracket is what will get me that shortcut. Similarly, if I know that this is all silence after here, which it is, I can just go to put my playhead there, And this time I'm going to press Command Shift and right bracket, and it will move everything that's after the playhead. It will move it to the playhead. So the Command B or Control B and the Command Shift and right or left bracket are my most used shortcuts in when I'm editing the timeline in this view here. And I promise you, knowing those few and learning those off by heart will save you hours of time. The other things that we can do, just to show you the full trimming possibilities here, at the edge of a clip, you can grab the edge of a clip and drag it like that too, if you wish. And you can also, really quickly, at the top of a clip, if you drag it like this, it will fade in over time. We'll go through video transitions in a moment.
Once you have the software downloaded, let's hop in and start to learn DaVinci Resolve.
And again, just to show you one last thing you can do, I can drag this across here, but I can also do shortcuts that you might have in other softwares like Command and C to copy, Command and V to paste, or Command and X to cut. So if I Command and X that now, put my playhead to where I want to paste it, and I Command and V, I can paste that in. And now I have an introduction that has removed all the mistakes and gaps so that people are getting to the heart of the video nice and quickly. So the next thing we're going to do, now that our footage is all trimmed and lined up the way we want it, we're going to look at adding in other bits of media to make this video a little bit more engaging. So the first thing I'm going to do is when I say welcome back to Music Ed Now, which is the name of this page, please subscribe if you haven't already. What we're going to do is we're going to take the Music Ed Now logo and have it come into the shot when I say Music Ed Now.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Music Ed Now.
I've imported the Music Ed Now logo into my media pool in the same way I dragged the videos in, and you can do images as well, just to know that. And now what happens is I get this in the center of the screen.
Music Ed Now.
So instead of blocking my face, I probably want it to come in and come to the right hand side of my head maybe, and just to come in quickly and then go back out. So what we're going to learn about now is transitions, and we're also going to learn about the inspector. Come up here to where the tools are, and this is our inspector view. And again, the inspector view is you're going to use lots of in your editing. With the clip highlighted, this logo highlighted, I can do things like zoom, so make it bigger, make it smaller. I'm just dragging left to right here. If you want to go back to what it was, this return button will get you back to where you started. I can use the XY position, so X is going to be horizontal and Y is going to be vertical. And then I can rotate it like this, and we might want to do something like that later on when it comes to animating. And there's lots of different things. Pitch and yaw, make it look a little bit more 3D. You have to be kind of careful with this because it can really distort the image. Again, you might have fun with that later on animating when we come back to a thing called keyframes. So the pitch and yaw is to do that. I can flip it so that it's backwards. That might be useful for some different bits and pieces. For right now, what I'm going to do is move it over to the side, the right hand side of myself on the screen. And to do that, I might make it a little bit smaller so that it fits and go over to the left. If I want that to start off screen and come in, I'm now going to go to a thing called video transitions. So in order to do this, I need to come up here to where it says effects. I can close down my media pool to give myself space on the screen. And now what I have is all the effects in this toolbox area. So again, if I click that off, click it on, you'll see what happens. So this is where we can add text and that kind of thing. And we might do that in a moment as well, just to show you how it works. In video transitions, what we're going to do is we'll go for a movement emotion one. So you get all of these types of video transitions. And the one I'm going to go for is this push transition. And all I need to do is drag the push transition and put it onto the start of the clip. And now you'll see what happens.
And now, in today's video,
if I want it to be quicker, I can zoom in. This is a very handy feature here, the zoom, and it zooms all the way into down to each individual frame. And what I can do is I can shorten this up to make it a bit snappier. And then if I actually click on the transition itself, I have all of these options in my inspector. Again, if that's not showing for you, just make sure your inspector is there. We can do a thing called easing in and out so that it has a bit of smoothness when it starts and stops. And yeah, that should look a little bit better now all of a sudden. The next thing we're going to do is go over to our color page, and this video is looking a little bit flat and lifeless at the minute. So what we're going to do is make some very, very simple edits to brighten up this image and make it more colorful. So what we're going to do is start on this first one. And we just need to start on any little frame here. Going through your video footage frame by frame is a very humbling experience, something that you have to get used to in post-production. So the first thing I'm going to do is I might actually take the lift down a tiny bit. We'll take the contrast up a little bit. We'll do the saturation up to about 60. And then this color boost, you have to be careful with the amount of this so that you don't get an orange or fake tan look on your face. The shadows also will bring down so the blacks are really black. Then we can bring up the image as a whole, the brightness. And again, if you overdo any one of these, it can really distort the image. So you just have to be careful. Little adjustments. To see what your before and after is like, while this node is selected, we can do Command and D to turn off. You can see already the color that's been popped into there. So I'm happy enough with that for now. And then if I am happy with that, I can, in the clips here, I can click Command and C to copy that. And without having to redo everything, I can just paste that to all of these clips as well. So there's consistency throughout the introduction. One other thing to point out, this mid-tone detail, if you want to get rid of your wrinkles, this is one thing you can mess around with. But again, you have to be careful because it can really start to look cartoonish after a while. We'll leave it at 0. I don't mind my wrinkles. Adjusting audio levels is also possible from within this section. So if I click on the video here, and this time in the inspector I click audio, the voice isolation is actually only available on the studio version, which is what I'm using today. So I won't go through that now because it will be inaccessible to anybody using the free version. But things like volume are easily adjusted here. So if you can even look down to the waveform, you can see that going up and down. Again, you have to be careful. If you blast everything too loud, your video footage is going to be clipping or in the red, as they say, and it will really affect that. You can also get more fine detail over in the audio page here, and this is like a mixer, an audio mixer. So in the A1, which is track 1, audio 1 track, you can start to mess around with effects, and there's lots that come free with DaVinci Resolve. You can mess around with compressors, EQ, and other aspects like that. For this beginner video, I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but just so you know that that's all available for you in the audio. And the very last thing we're going to have a look at is a thing called keyframing. This is getting into the intermediate phase of your video editing, but I think it's a useful enough tool that you will come back to again, time and time again, to at least reference it now. So if I wanted in this introduction for the camera to look like it's slowly zooming in, we can do a thing called keyframing. So that's what I'll do here. So what I'm going to do is wherever the playhead is, you'll see these little diamond buttons beside each of the parameters within the inspector, and the transform parameter is where we have the things like zoom and moving left to right and so on and so forth. I'm going to select the top diamond so that this puts a keyframe on all of the attributes of this. Then I'm going to wait till this gets to about here, nearly the end of the clip, and I'm going to have this zoom in to about here. So now if I play this back from the start, you're going to see a very slow zoom.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Music Ed Now. In today's video, we're going to have a look at a free video software called Davinci Resolve. This video will act as a...
And then as the clip changes, it goes back to what it was. So you have this kind of difference, and sometimes this is what we want to happen to keep people's eyes engaged as we go through our video. And that completes the starter guide to DaVinci Resolve. If you found this video useful, please consider hitting subscribe. We're a new and growing channel and every subscriber really counts. Thanks so much for watching.